Welcome back to Silent Conspiracy. Tonight we journey into a case that has haunted Chennai for over 16 years. A brutal triple murder that shocked the city, exposed police corruption, and continues to defy resolution despite multiple investigations, convictions, and acquittals. Picture this. November 20th, 2008, KK Nagar, Chennai. A respected former chairman of Tamil Nadu Minerals Limited lies dead in his kitchen, his throat slashed. In the bedroom, his wife, retired government officer, and their 17-year-old housemate are found with similar fatal wounds. The house has been ransacked, yet expensive jewelry remains untouched. This is the story of the Chennai Triple Murder of 2008. Case so complex it has survived 4 different police investigations, 1 CBI probe, multiple court verdicts, and now a fresh CBI reinvestigation ordered by the Supreme Court in 2025. Tonight we unpack how a seemingly straightforward robbery murder spiraled into a legal labyrinth involving corrupt investigators, mysterious bank lockers, and evidence that disappeared faster than it could be collected. Dr. S. Saravanan, 74, was no ordinary retiree. A geology professor turned businessman. He had been appointed chairman of Tamil Nadu Minerals Limited Tamin by former Chief Minister M.G. Ramachandran in the early 1980s. Though suspended in 1989 over alleged involvement in a mineral scam, he was reinstated in 1993 and allowed to retire honorably. His wife, Kastri, 73, was a former undersecretary in the State Home Department, a power couple by Chennai standards. The couple lived on the first floor of their house on Kanapan Salai, near the police training college in KK Nagar. They were childless and had accumulated significant wealth, including a valuable collection of diamonds and precious stones. Their domestic help, 17-year-old Ambarasi, had been with them for several months and lived in the house. On the morning of November 20th, 2008, family friend Anik Krishnan, a junior assistant at Tamin, who usually accompanied Saravanan on morning walks, arrived at 5:45 a.m. to find the front door ajar. Inside, he discovered a scene of horror. Saravanan's body lay in the kitchen with multiple stab wounds, while Kastri and Ambarasi were found in the bedroom with their throats slit. Police Commissioner K. Rhoda Krishnan arrived at the scene to find what appeared to be a botched robbery. Cupboards and bureaus had been ransacked, documents were scattered, and some property-related papers were missing. However, puzzling inconsistencies emerged immediately. Kastri's expensive jewelry remained untouched, and the house was locked from the inside, raising questions about how the killers had entered and exited. 2 kitchen knives were recovered from the scene, apparently wiped clean by the perpetrators. Sniffer dog Steffi was brought to the scene, but stopped tracking at the end of the road, providing no useful leads. Forensic experts collected fingerprints and other evidence, but the investigation quickly stalled. For nearly 2 years, the case went nowhere. Then, in 2010, mounting public pressure and a appeal filed in the Madras High Court forced police into action. Suddenly, 4 suspects were arrested. Udaya Kumar, 23, Mohammed Yassin, 24, Mohandas, 43, and his wife Satyabama, 34. The breakthrough came through a 5th suspect, Sathish Kumar, who worked as a part-time driver at the house. Under interrogation in March 2010, Sathish allegedly confessed to planning the robbery with the other 4. However, shortly after his release, he was found hanging in a friend's room in MGR Nagar, apparent suicide that eliminated the key witness. But police had one crucial piece of evidence, a blood sample from the crime scene that did unmatch any of the victims. When they tested Sathish's father Shanmugam using DNA fingerprinting, the blood was confirmed to belong to a direct blood relative of Shanmugam, presumably Sathish himself, who had apparently been injured during the struggle. Armed with this DNA evidence and confessions from the arrested suspects, the case proceeded to trial. On October 22, 2010, a fast-track court found all 4 accused guilty of the diabolical crime and sentenced them to life imprisonment. The prosecution argued that the group had planned to rob the wealthy couple, but killed them when the robbery went wrong. For the families of the victims and the public, justice appeared to have been served. But this was only the beginning of a legal nightmare that would expose fundamental flaws in the investigation. In 2013, the convicted quartet appealed their sentences to the Madras High Court. What happened next stunned the legal community. The division bench, comprising Justice S. Rajas Rowan and Justice A. Rumagoswamy, not only set aside all 4 convictions, but ordered a fresh CBI investigation. The High Court's criticism of the police investigation was devastating. The judges found that the prosecution had failed to establish how the accused entered the house, which was locked from inside. More damaging was the revelation that the investigating officer had illegally opened the bank lockers of Saravanan and Kasturi without following due procedure. The court discovered that the investigating officer had somehow obtained keys to the couple's bank lockers and opened them without proper authorization, legal procedure, or even recording the action in the case diary. The bank manager who allowed this breach was equally complicit. This revelation raised serious questions. What was taken from the lockers? Were crucial clues destroyed? Was evidence planted or removed? Following the High Court order, which was later upheld by the Supreme Court in February 2024, the CBI was directed to split the investigation into 2 parts. One focusing on the murders themselves, and another investigating the misconduct of the police officers who illegally accessed the victims' bank lockers. However, instead of a fresh investigation, legal battles continued. The state government challenged the High Court order, claiming that proper procedures had been followed in opening the lockers. The Supreme Court rejected this appeal, questioning the rationale behind opening the lockers without authorization and noting the complete absence of any record in the case diary. On January 2, 2025, over 16 years after the murders, the CBI finally registered afresh and began reinvestigating the case from scratch. The new investigation faces enormous challenges. Witnesses have died or relocated, physical evidence has deteriorated, and memories have faded. Most critically, the alleged contamination of evidence through illegal locker access may have permanently compromised the case. One of the most perplexing aspects of the case remains unsolved: the fate of Saravanan's considerable wealth, known for his collection of diamonds and precious stones. As well as substantial bank deposits and properties, the exact contents of his estate remain unknown. The illegal opening of bank lockers means there is no reliable record of what was stored there or whether anything was removed. This mystery has fueled speculation about the true motive for the murders. Was this a simple robbery gone wrong? Or was someone specifically targeting Saravanan's wealth? Did the investigating officers remove valuable items from the lockers? Were the murders connected to Saravanan's controversial tenure at Tamil? The illegal access to bank lockers suggests a level of corruption that goes beyond investigative incompetence. The fact that no entry was made in the case diary indicates deliberate concealment. The High Court's specific direction for CBI to investigate the role of both police officers and bank officials suggests potential conspiracy to tamper with evidence or steal from the victims. This corruption angle adds another layer to the mystery. Were the police genuinely trying to solve the case, or were they covering up their own involvement? Did someone with inside knowledge orchestrate both the murders and the subsequent cover-up? DNA evidence from 2008 may have degraded beyond usefulness. The crime scene has long since been altered. Key witnesses are dead, missing, or their memories are unreliable after 16 years. Most critically, the contamination of evidence through illegal procedures may have destroyed any chance of determining the truth. Modern forensic techniques like advanced DNA analysis, digital reconstruction, and improved fingerprint technology might reveal new clues. However, these methods are only as good as the evidence they analyze. If that evidence was compromised from the beginning, even the best technology cannot recover the truth. Beyond the legal complexities lies a human tragedy that continues to unfold. Saravanan and Kasturi, despite their wealth and status, became victims not only of their killers, but of a system that failed them. Young Ann Barassi, barely 17, lost her life simply for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. The 4 people convicted and later acquitted spent years in prison for crimes they may not have committed. Their families suffered social ostracism and financial hardship. Even if ultimately innocent, their lives were irreparably damaged by a flawed investigation. The Chennai Triple Murder Case exposes systemic failures that extend far beyond one investigation. The illegal access to bank lockers reveals a culture of impunity among investigators. The willingness to proceed with prosecutions based on compromised evidence shows how. Pressure for results can override concern for justice. The fact that it took a high court intervention to expose these failures and Supreme Court pressure to force a reinvestigation suggests that such corruption might be more widespread than officially acknowledged. How many other cases have been compromised by similar investigative misconduct? The 2025 question: as the CBI begins its fresh investigation, fundamental questions remain. Can justice be achieved 16 years after the crime? Is it possible to separate truth from the web of corruption and incompetence that has surrounded this case? Will modern forensic techniques succeed where traditional investigation failed? Most troubling is the meta-question this case raises about the Indian justice system. If wealthy, connected victims like Sir and Caste 3 cannot receive competent investigation, what hope do ordinary citizens have? If police can illegally access bank lockers and destroy evidence with impunity, how can any investigation be trusted? Today, the Chennai Triple Murder remains as puzzling as ever. 3 people died brutally in their home. 4 people were convicted and later acquitted. Police officers committed serious misconduct. Valuable evidence disappeared. Wealth vanished without trace. After 16 years, we're no closer to the truth than we were in 2008. The CBI's 2025 reinvestigation represents perhaps the last chance for justice. With advanced forensic capabilities, fresh perspectives, and awareness of previous failures, investigators might finally solve this puzzle, but they're racing against time, fading memories, and the accumulated damage of nearly 2 decades of investigative failure. What do you think happened in that KK Nugger house on November 20th, 2008? Was this a robbery gone wrong, a targeted assassination, or something more complex, involving police corruption? Share your theories in the comments below. If this exploration of Chennai's most persistent mystery intrigued you, like, subscribe to Silent Conspiracy, and ring the bell. Next time we'll investigate another case where the line between crime and cover-up becomes impossibly blurred.